Hey there, welcome to Cabin Flannel, episode 7. I am Caleb.
I'm Ryan.
And we are your hosts today. Today, I think we're going to start with...
You didn't forget how to start the podcast, did you?
What? What I do?
I'm just making sure because you forgot how to start a timer a couple of seconds
Yeah,
ago.
well,
so
it wasn't...
sure you could...
It was... it took me a second to figure it out, but I figured it out, okay?
Timer's
timer's running.
I mean, there's like 2 buttons you can press, so it's,
Yeah, well, you have to go to the clock icon, all right, and then you have to click...
the big clock icon.
And technically, we don't use the timer, we use the stopwatch, so...
I mean, you can use a timer.
Tricky. I mean, you could, but you'd have to set it for and then an alarm goes off. And, it's more complicated than it sounds. All right.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not, but I figured it out. So I heard you had a interesting day yesterday.
Yes, I had it was actually Friday.
Oh crap! It's been so long.
2 days. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had an interesting day Friday, and I haven't told Caleb anything yet. I was gonna save it for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I probably shouldn't have a mint. Actually, it's probably a bad idea for a podcast.
Just hear a bunch
of... I'm officially boycotting the restaurant Freddy's.
Yeah, you hear that, Freddy's? All our numerous fans are gonna boycott you.
If I'm being honest with myself, it's probably gonna last maybe a week.
Yeah, but hey, that's
Freddy's,
a week of business they'll never get back.
Yeah. I love me some Freddy's. But anyway, so just some backstory to kind of set the story up. I love food and like soda. Like it's like my comfort thing. Like after a long day, I just want to sit down and eat like a double cheeseburger or and drink some soda. Like that's like my comfort. Do that, just like watch TV. That's how I relax.
Yeah, that's
me
too.
On Friday, just had a really rough day at work. I got off an hour and 15 minutes later than I was supposed to.
Nice.
Really long shift. I was just really tired. My legs were sore because I'm a wimp and can't stand for a few hours, I guess.
Well, you stand for a long time at work.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There's not really a place to sit. I mean, you could sit.
Back-to-back days and stuff.
Yeah, you could bring a chair over, but...
We're not supposed to. But
I did that once or twice. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I do it every shift, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't do that.
I mean, not at all. What are you talking about?
But yeah, I was just mentally tired, and I was like, getting off an hour and a half late or hour 15 minutes late. That just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go home. Been rewatching a show on YouTube. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go home, get changed. Go get some food and just relax. And I was like, okay, it's been a rough day, but I still have, it's 6:30 at this point. Like I still got some time to,
to relax.
Yeah, to relax and enjoy my day. So I get home, I take my tie off. I think I played some video games or something for a couple hours just to relax. And then I started getting hungry. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go get some food. And I remembered that 2 days before I went to Freddy's after the movie because Freddy's is right next to the theater here in Topeka.
Mm-hmm. The movie, are you talking about A Quiet Place?
I am, which we could talk about later too.
Yeah, so good. So great.
So good. But I went to Freddy's after the movie a couple days before, and they had a problem with their grill, I think. And so my order took longer to come out to me than normal. Mm-hmm. So they gave me like a couple coupons and stuff like that, which, I understand. I've worked in the food business for a year. Mm-hmm. I know how,
how it is.
So I was, whatever, it happens.
Yeah, not always a walk in the park.
I can go to Freddy's. They gave me a free meal coupon and then like $3 off coupon. Nice. So I got I could go use my coupons and I don't have to spend any money. It's like, okay, this
is gonna work out.
This day's looking up. So I get in my car, start driving to Freddy's and stuff. Excuse me, I just ate actually, not Freddy's, but
not Freddy. You're boycotting Freddy's, so
yes, exactly. So I get there and it's pretty. This is at 9 o'clock. This is 9 o'clock at this point. So it's pretty slow. They close at 10. It's pretty slow. There's a few people there, so I order my food, and I gave my order. My order number is 139. I remember this.
You remembered your order number?
I remember my order number because it's God. And so if you've never been to Freddy's before, it's not like a normal restaurant where they bring out your food. You get an order number on your receipt, and they'll just call your order number out. That's when you go and pick up your food. Then
so you were inside. You weren't going through the drive-through. You were inside
correct.
the store.
I went inside because there were a couple cars in the drive-through, and I figured it'd be quicker.
Gotcha.
What's wrong there? So yeah, order my food and get my drink and everything. And it was free because with that coupon, so I was excited.
Right.
And I walk over, and ever since Rhett and Link did the soda, old expired soda taste test on their show, I've been craving Mountain Dew. And
really?
I've been trying to drink
Mountain Dew?
yeah, I love Mountain Dew, and I've been trying to drink less soda recently. But I was like, okay, I am getting a double bacon cheeseburger. I'll get water tonight. I was like,
oh, all right, very responsible.
I was like, I'll
even though you had a free drink coupon.
Yeah, I had a free drink. But I was like, okay, yeah, I know. I was trying. I'm getting a double bacon cheeseburger. I can deal with the water. Yeah. It's like, okay, so I got my water and I'm sitting there sipping on it, waiting for my order. A couple minutes goes by and they call the number 138. So I'm like, okay, I'm next.
I'm next.
Yeah. About 5 minutes goes by and they start calling the next order number, and I get up and start walking towards it because it should be mine. Order number 140. I'm like, that's okay. And so I kind of sit back down and
all right.
I'm thinking why that should have been mine. I was like, I just had a burger and fries. It shouldn't take too long. And I remember it was it's probably the bacon. A lot of places don't keep bacon cooked all the time because they don't use a lot.
Cook the bacon.
So maybe they had to get some bacon out and cook it or something like that. So, okay, whatever. I can wait a few more minutes. 15 more minutes goes by. This is 20 minutes after I've ordered at this point.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I need
where's
to say
my food?
something.
What? Yeah. It's and so a couple more orders have been called, a lot of custard orders. I'm sitting there okay, something's going on at this point.
Yeah, something's wrong.
I'll wait till it's been 25 minutes past. I don't know why I waited 5 more minutes, but I waited 25 minutes past I ordered because it had the time I ordered on the receipt. So I knew exactly what time I ordered. It's 9:01.
Oh, wow.
So at 9:25, I walk up there and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to ask, try to get someone's attention. Hey, is my order to get it mixed up or something? I walk up to the little counter where you pick up the food, and I could see the screens that they had that has the orders and stuff that they need to cook on there.
Right.
And my order's not up there. So I'm like,
something went wrong.
Something is wrong. And I know for a fact I didn't miss my number because one, it's so loud that you can't miss it, especially when it was that empty. And two, they would call it again if I missed it.
Right.
They wouldn't
just skip it. Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get someone's attention, but they're all busy in the back, cooking and cleaning because it's about 30 minutes till close at this point. So they're kind of doing some closing stuff. And so having a hard time getting anyone's attention. And finally someone comes to restock the napkins next to me. And I'm like, hey, just had a quick question. Do you know about how much longer on order 139? She's like, you'd have to ask someone in the kitchen. I don't work in the kitchen. It's like, I can't. I've been trying to ask someone in the kitchen for 5 minutes. And when she said that, I was like, okay, and just turned around and walked out.
You just left?
So I just left. I was like, I didn't spend any money here. I got my fry sauce and my drink and left. And I was like, I was, really looking forward to this burger more than a normal person looks forward to a meal. I love me some Freddy's. So well, dang it, I really want a bacon cheeseburger now. And so I was like, past 2 times I've been to Sonic's, they've gotten my order wrong. It's like, ooh, Five Guys is still open. And Five Guys is probably my favorite burger place. They have
really good
pretty
burgers.
Expensive. That's why I didn't go there originally and had a free meal. It's like, okay, I'll get some Five Guys. And so I ordered the Five Guys on my phone because there were 30 minutes to close there too.
Right.
So I ordered on my phone, went there to go pick it up, and it takes a couple minutes, but pick it up and everything. And I don't love their fries, but
I like their fries. I know you don't
their
like
fries
them as much,
they're known for their fries, but for some reason I don't like them.
They're very homemade. They don't have.
It's the peanut oil I don't like.
I see. I get you.
But yeah, so I was really looking forward to Freddy's because I love their burgers, love their fries, love Five Guys burgers. I don't care for their fries, but I was like, okay, just whatever. I'm starving at this point. I just want to get home. It's been 45 minutes since I left. I just I just want to get home and just relax. So get my food, walk out, get home, turn the TV on, turn the TV show I was watching on, and like, okay, finally. So open my burger, take a bite. I'm like, oh, something's not right here. And I forgot to add the cheese. And
you didn't get cheese?
I think I'm abnormal in this way, but to me, a cheeseburger is 100 times better than a hamburger. Like,
You're probably not alone on
hamburgers, but
Yeah,
cheeseburgers are amazing. And I cannot explain to you how angry I was in that moment. It had been a super long day. I was frustrated at every single point, and all I wanted was a freaking bacon cheeseburger.
Sometimes it's just too much to ask for.
Take a bite of one of my favorite burger places. I just take a bite, and it's just dry. And I was so mad. I wanted to throw the burger across the room, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that because then I'm really in a
You're
hole.
gonna have to clean it up.
So I spite ate the burger.
You ate the burger in spite.
In spite.
Wow.
I didn't have any soda. I just had this water, and I was like, "Oh God, it's just a terrible day." And the fries were terrible too. So
that's the worst.
Day.
Especially, it's bad enough. I mean, sometimes it happens. People get orders wrong and stuff, but it's like,
like I said, I worked in food business for a year. I know how it goes.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but sometimes it can really put you over the edge if you've had a really bad day, and then that's the thing. It seems like everything's pushing against you.
And like I said, I look forward to those meals more than most people, especially like after a long.
It's the little things in life, It's
exactly.
Yeah.
And when I 2 trips there, 40 minutes and 1 meal. At Freddy's, and so
what was that? I mean, I guess that lady, she definitely the worker there. I mean, having worked in like customer service and I haven't worked at a food restaurant. I worked at Hy-Vee and at Family Video and things like that. But I've worked with people. But I know if somebody asks you a question, you do not just push them off to somebody else.
I think she was just trying to get to close. I think she just didn't want to deal with anything, and she was just
It's not.
She was
not
like,
good.
you'd have to have someone in the kitchen. I was like,
I mean, my question is like, if that's your response, it cannot take that much longer just to get somebody from. I mean, exactly. I've been there. I had to ask my manager. There was so many things that I couldn't do, working at Hy-Vee that I needed a manager for. And like, if someone asks, then you don't just say, "Oh, I can't help you with that." Ask somebody else.
Exactly.
It's like, nope, I'm gonna go. Get the manager.
So I was like, I'm done. So official boycott of Freddy's
for at least a week.
Like I said, I love Freddy's, so I'll probably be back before too long. But
I know I enjoy Freddy's too. But
I was really craving it today, and I honestly would have gone for lunch if I wasn't about to tell the story. About
and it just would have felt so hypocritical.
I was like, I can't do that. I have to wait at least a couple days.
And I know, and and from her perspective, like maybe people make mistakes and stuff, but it sometimes if you just get caught at the wrong time and in the wrong place, it can really just set you over the edge.
And I think she was restocking stuff and stuff like that, so she was
doing like
tasks
other jobs. And
she's probably just wanting to close and get out of there. So.
Yeah, well, that's too bad.
I waited for 30 minutes. That's how much I was looking forward to that burger. I waited for 30 minutes.
Oh my god!
At a fast food restaurant.
I've waited. Did I ever tell you about the time I really needed a haircut and I was trying out some different places up here in Omaha? And
I don't think so.
I went to like a barbershop, like an old school, like it was like a man's man place. It was like for beards and for male haircuts and stuff, and it was pretty cool. But I went in there. And there's only one guy working the shop. He's the only guy there, and he's cutting somebody's hair. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm like, I'll get my haircut here. This is cool. And then right before he finally finishes the haircut, I waited through this entire haircut. It was like a good 30-minute haircut. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, do you take card, right? And he's like, nope, cash only. And I was like, come on. I just sat here for 30 minutes and I don't have any cash. And so I had to regain my composure, and I was like, come on, man. So I was just
he doesn't take card. It's 20.
I know.
Obviously, it was 2017 at this point.
It was,
or 2016 at least. But Really?
Yeah.
You don't take card?
It was like an old school place, man. It was,
But still,
it was cool, but I was like, man, and it just kind of sucked because if I would have known, I would not have stuck around for that.
Of course,
for 30 minutes.
You just sit there watching him do a haircut.
Yeah, I just that was invigorating.
Yeah,
just watch another man get a haircut. So that kind of sucked. But
on one of the podcasts I watched, PKA,
shout out.
one of the main hosts told a story about he had moved recently and he was looking for a new barbershop, and he's like a classic like dad on the internet, like not cool, like not up to what's hip and stuff like that. And so he's like, I've always heard about like black barbers being like the best barbers. It's like, I'm gonna go to a black barber shop. And so he said he took his son to this barbershop, in this black neighborhood, and he walks in and there's one other white guy and a bunch of other black guys. So he's like, okay, there's one other white guy, so I'm okay. And so he said, but everyone kind of gave him looks and stuff like that, and he said it was the worst haircut he's ever had in his life. He said, like, the guy was like, he said it was like painful, and finally he was like, hey, dude, that hurts. He's like, well, why didn't you say anything? He's like, I just did. He's like, well, just now. And so the guy knew that it was hurting as he was giving the haircut, but he didn't care.
He didn't care.
And he said it just completely like messed up his hair. It was just horrible. But the worst part is, after that, he gives his son to the guy to get his haircut.
Really? He let his son?
Yeah. He's just like, all right, here
you go.
So,
if I have to go through, you're going through it
him
too?
and his son had matching horrible haircuts, like way too like short and just cut wrong. Absolutely hilarious. But people gave him crap for just giving his son to the same guy who freaking.
I know
hurt him
you have
and
a bad haircut. Oh, that's all right. I'll just do that.
His son's autistic, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
So just.
Jeez, that I think I might have mentioned this in a previous podcast, but that time that I got the worst haircut of my life, I went to it was a Regency beauty school is what it was, but they offered really cheap haircuts. Like it was like $9 compared to the the more expensive regular haircut places, and the haircut itself was all right. She didn't really cut that much of my hair. It was still pretty long afterwards. But besides that, it took like 2 hours, and she told me her entire life story. Like, she told me everything. She told me how, like, she got pregnant at a young age and how, she's having these issues with the guy. And, like, she told me, she's like, and that's why, and I'm going to tell you, she's like, keep it in your pants. And I was like, all right, not what I was expecting to hear from my haircut lady, but thank you for that. It was an interesting. Did we talk
about this on the show?
We talked about it at some point. I don't know if it was on the show or not. I've definitely brought it up before because.
Yeah, because then I remember I told you about my worst haircut, where she took 2.5 inches off the top and
yes, I remember that. Yeah, that was
or 3 inches, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I think we've talked about this on the show. Wow, I think 7 episodes in, already repeating.
I know,
stories,
already repeat.
That's a great sign. We're boring people. So
hey, but we made it through seven episodes. I mean,
well, 6 1/4.
6 1/4. Oh my.
Repeating haircut talk. So that's
I know that's a very niche genre, but we've got it down. So we have some other things I was going to ask you about. What was? You need to share the story about. You need to share the Astro story because it's been so long and I can't believe we haven't talked about it already.
Okay, so this is one of, I guess, looking back on it, the best stories I have, but at the moment it was like just one of the worst days.
It's really
of my
depressing.
life.
Speaking of worst days of your life, you went from
this story like sums up my life
one.
in like a 5-minute story. So, as I've mentioned before, I have a fairly large family. I have 5 siblings.
That's pretty big.
But most notably, my older brother, he's year and 2 months older than me. So growing up, me and him were pretty close and stuff like that. And one day, my dad took me, him, and then my younger sister to a baseball game. We lived right outside Houston for 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. And so we'd go to Astros games back when they sucked because they were pretty cheap and stuff like that.
They're pretty good now.
And so we went to a baseball game, and I was, I don't know, 6 to 8 years old, somewhere in that range. So walking, talking, all that kind of stuff, but I was still fairly young. And during the game, they had like a announcement. It was like, hey, just so you guys know, we're having a thing. So after the game, the kids can run the bases.
Yeah,
and
which sounds pretty cool.
I loved sports as a kid. Like, and so this was like, I get to go on like the actual like baseball field, like that's on TV. Like
that's on TV.
I get to run on that field. Like that was like, at my 6-7-year-old head, that was like
the top
coolest
of the
thing,
bowl.
and I was so excited. And Zach was too.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we asked our dad if we could do it. He's like, yeah, of course, sure. It's like after the game, I think we like went to the restroom or something like that, and then after we got out, Zach and I took off to the end of the line because it was a huge line because hundreds and hundreds of people were wanting to do it. Mm-hmm. So we sprint to the back of the line, get in line, and turn around, and my dad and my sister are gone.
Where'd they go? Where'd
crap.
They go?
So we start panicking because we're young, He's just, like I said, he's only a year older than I am. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, okay, so we leave the line and just start walking in the direction that we came from, which makes sense. And looking for my dad, and we don't find him. We walk around for maybe 10 minutes, just like around the stadium, and no sign of him whatsoever. So like,
boy.
So like, I don't know what to do. Zach's like the older brother. I'm just, listening to what he says pretty much. And so he's like, all right, you wait out here. I'm just going to use the restroom real quick. He's like, no, I'll come with you, because I was scared.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll come with you. No,
Scooby-Doo rules. Like, just, they don't apply. Don't split up.
He's like, no, just wait out here. Trust me. It's like, no, I'll come in with you. He's like, no, just wait out here. I was like, fine. I'll wait out here. Let you use the restroom, whatever. I'll just wait out here.
Yeah.
So I'll wait for, 2, 3, 5, 10 minutes, never leaves. I'm like, maybe he's going number 2. I don't know. I was naive at the time.
Maybe he's taking a dump.
Whatever. And a security officer or a cop or someone comes by. He's like, hey, what you doing, kid? I was like, oh, I'm waiting for my brother. He's in the bathroom. He's like, you sure? I'm guessing he'd been like watching me and noticed I'd been there for a long time. You've been
standing there? Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, let's go look for him. And he was gone. he was not in the restroom. Apparently there was an entrance and an exit, and
it was one of those
went out to exit, and he claims that he looked and didn't see me standing exactly where he told me to stand, which is where I was standing. He says he didn't see me, so he just left, and he went back to the line to run the bases. And so I'm like freaking out now because he was like my safety or whatever. He's gone, so I'm just here with this cop. I'm like, okay, this isn't good. And so the cop's like, it's fine. He takes me to his little office. He's like, do you have a do you know your parents' phone number? I was like, yeah, I know my parents' phone number. Crap, and I couldn't think of it. I was so
that's the worst
terrified in the moment that I just like I knew it, but I couldn't.
Your mind went blank.
I was like,
you couldn't recall.
Yeah, my mind went blank. It's like, okay, do you know anyone's number that we could get in contact with your parents? Like, yeah, my best friend's phone number, Hunter. Yeah. Like, I know his phone number.
Hunter Bridges?
Hunter Bridges, yeah. and so I called him, and I was like, hey, it's Ryan. What's my dad's phone number? He's like, what? I was like, what's my dad's phone number? I can't remember. What's my dad's phone number? Okay, and so he gives it to me, and we
What's my dad's phone number? Hey, that was smart, though.
It
worked out.
I gotta remember his phone number. But we get my dad's phone number, and we call my dad. He comes down and picks me up and stuff like that. And, I start crying and all this kind of stuff. He smart enough went to where the parents go after the kids are on the bases to meet the kids.
Right. Because
makes sense.
Makes sense.
And so Zach ran the bases. I didn't get to run the bases. He left me and found my dad. And I was sitting there alone and scared.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say you got the short end of the stick on that one.
Yeah. I'm like a 6 or 7 year old kid in this huge stadium, like a Minute Maid Park. I mean, it was a huge thing. And I'm just terrified.
Alone.
Like, I'm not a very social person in the first place, but, being lost in a freaking baseball stadium, like that was a legit nightmare.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. And that totally
and just the
sucks,
fact that he left me and ran the bases. I still haven't ran the bases to this day.
Oh man, you got to go back now. You got to make up
cost
for
money.
Well, yeah, that's true. One day you can go back.
It's not worth it that much to me.
It's not worth it that much. I mean, I want to do it, but not that much. Man,
Yeah,
I can't believe that. That's hilarious. The only thing, there was one time, and I just remember this cracked me up, but my dad's side of the family got together in Mulvane, Kansas, little place called Mulvane. Maybe
that's a party town.
Yeah. It's they have parties sometimes. all 50 people show up.
Yeah, that's about right.
But my family, we got together for, I want to say it was like, a holiday. Maybe it was Christmas or something like that. But my cousins on my dad's youngest sister, her family had, that was nice. What were you doing that for? They had packed everything up and they were headed out. And so we said our goodbyes and they got in their car and they drove off. And then we're sitting there, hanging out with the rest of the family that remained. And like 30 minutes later, my cousin Devin, her son, walks out and they're like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And we're like, what are you doing? Why are you here? And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Your family, they left." And they're like, "What?" He's, "What?" And we called them and we're like, "Hey, you forgot one of your kids." At the house. And they came back and they're like, "We're so sorry. We forgot." And I think what happened was he was in the bathroom or something and he wasn't there when they were packing everything up. And they had quite a few kids. I think they have 4 kids. I want to say they had 4, which isn't a huge amount, but it was enough to forget one.
Yeah, I guess.
And
jeez.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, that totally sucks. And they drove like a good ways away too. It wasn't one of those situations where like, we just went down the street and then we turned around. It was like they were gone for a little bit. I mean, it was crazy. Poor guy.
I have a similar story too. I think I've told you before.
Yeah, I think I know this one.
But so I guess my family was coming home from probably like a dinner or something one night. It was late at night and it was storming. Again, I was about the same age, I think probably a little bit younger, probably 5 or so. And we had this minivan for all our kids. I was at 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, and then 3 in the back. And so I was I was in the middle, right next to the door that opens. And so all I remember is just waking up, door wide open, it's storming outside, pitch black, and the car's empty.
That's so terrifying, dude.
I as like a 5 or 6-year-old kid, I obviously confused and kind of like freaked out. So I run to the front door and start banging on the door like, "Hey, let me in." No one answers, obviously, because it's middle of the night during a thunderstorm. Someone's banging on your door. Like,
yeah, like what
you're not gonna answer that. And so go to the back door, do the same thing. No one answers. Go back to the front. I try again for another minute or so, and no one answers. So I just kind of sit on the porch and we have a little like porch swing. So I just sat on there and kind of was like, "Oh,
just hung out."
Guess I'll just wait out here.
I guess I'll just wait out the storm.
And finally, my dad kind of, I hear the door open. He kind of peeks out a little bit. He's like, "Ryan?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "What are you doing out here?" I was like, "I was in the car asleep."
I was in the car.
And until I think I was telling you and your mom recently.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, we were all sitting at the table.
I didn't really think about this like too much, but like I shared a room with my brother at the time. So he would have had to not have said anything.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
Like he's like, "Oh, Ryan's gone."
He just didn't. He didn't tell anybody
anything. My parents always they said they always tucked me in. I guess I never really knew, but they had no idea. I mean, they put us to bed.
That's so
no idea I was gone.
Man.
I'm sure they didn't go straight to bed. I'm sure they watched TV or they had no idea that I was
that you weren't there
in the car. Everyone had to pass in front of me, all of the kids, to get out of the car.
Yep.
Like because of where I was sitting, they had to pass right in front of me. No one bothered. Like, "Hey,
might
Ryan,
say something about your siblings, man."
Dude, I'm telling you,
was looking out for each other. Gosh, dude,
middle child stories, but
I can't believe that, man. That something similar, strangely enough, happened to my cousin on my mom's side. My little cousin, he's right now they're in middle school, but when this happened, I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago. So they were in elementary school, but they were driving on the interstate, and there was 2 people driving. I think it was my aunt and uncle. They were driving. and my uncle was getting tired, or my aunt was getting tired, and they were going to switch. So they pulled over to the side of the road to switch seats, and my cousin was like half asleep and thought they were home, like thought they had gotten home. So he opened the door and got out of the car, and they drove off without realizing that he got out of the car.
How?
So he was. This is a true story. This really happened.
That is
and
hilarious.
They left him on the side of the interstate, and they didn't realize he wasn't.
How tired do you have to be to get out on the interstate, like
He
not
was in the
immediately
back.
get back
Well,
in the car? And
It
realize
only
you're
took
not home?
it took a split second because he got out of the car like just half asleep, not realizing what was going on, and they drove off like immediately without even realizing it. And he was just stuck there, and they didn't realize for like a solid 30 minutes. Like they drove on the interstate, and then they realized they're like, "Oh,
poor
God,
guy.
Esteban
I would have
is
no
not in
idea
the
what
car."
to I would
And
have
they
no idea what
freaked
to
out.
do.
Yeah, and apparently what he did was he thought what he told him afterwards is like, I just picked the opposite direction because he remembered there was a town or something back there, and his plan was he was going to walk back to the town and find the nearest Walmart, and then he was going to hang out at Walmart and try to find a phone. And we were like, okay. The poor guy was left there in the dark on the side of the highway, somewhere between New Mexico and Texas. Like that's where they were at. He was just left out there. And for like a solid 30 minutes. And they drove back when they realized what happened, and they found him back on the side of the road, just still walking. Like walking
that's
there.
horrible.
It was terrible. It scared the heck out of everybody involved. But my uncle felt so
That's so
bad.
funny.
My uncle and aunt felt terrible
so
about
funny.
it. But it was one of those things like, I don't know the specifics. I'm guessing somehow when they must have got into the car, and it was really late at night. I mean, it was, I'm sure everyone was really tired. But I guess when they closed the door, he might have closed it just at the right time to where they didn't notice that there was a door closing. And so they just thought, oh, that's just the sound the door makes when it closed, and now we're ready to go. And then the kids were asleep, so they just didn't think that they would have gone anywhere, I mean, like, that looks funny. But yeah, that was just quite the story. I remember hearing that and being like, oh my gosh, that is terrifying.
Hilarious.
But so funny. Man.
Let's see, if your parents were to
so
do
bad.
that, I mean, they only had 2 kids, so that'd be.
I know. I don't think that really happened to either me or Addie. I don't remember it happening.
Let's see, we lost Connor in a Cabela's once.
He lost Connor in a Cabela's.
Yeah, let's see. Did we lose? I don't know if I know any more. So I'm sure we've lost multiple people.
Yeah, well, when it happens all the time, it just
yeah, exactly.
you
It's not
get
even
over
significant
it
anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of things of bad things happening to poor children, how about A Quiet Place?
Oh, dude. Okay, so
we shouldn't spoil
alert.
anything. Yeah, maybe spoiler alert just in case.
Spoiler alert
Yeah.
is now in effect.
Okay, spoiler alert's in effect. You better stop watching if you haven't seen the movie.
Yes, A Quiet Place is the movie.
A Quiet Place, the one
2018.
with Jim from The Office. God, your phone keeps falling over.
So hard. You have no idea. My freaking blinds are falling down. And
Your world is just falling
my
apart.
phone, pretty much. Anyway, Quiet Place. Fuck me. I hate life.
That was so. Dude, this looks like a found footage film from my perspective. Like it looks like you're getting something's happening to you.
I keep. I have my phone propped up on a music stand, and I keep my blinds fell off behind me, so I keep reaching back to fix the blinds, and when I reach back, my phone falls forward. So
how are your blinds falling down?
My blinds fall more, and so I go to fix my blinds. My phone, it's just. I'm struggling so hard right now.
What? How are your blinds falling down?
Because they're terrible.
Oh,
They just don't want to work. But anyway, I'm just gonna move over. It's bright now. Anyway, Quiet Place. Fantastic movie. We've talked about this extensively already, so we won't talk about it for too long. But fantastic movie.
So great. I saw it on Tuesday night.
I saw it.
You saw it the next day.
You jerk.
Well, I had to. I called you immediately afterwards and was like, "You need to watch this movie." And luckily, you did go and see it the next day, so we could actually talk about it. But man, it was something else. Highly recommend.
Very good.
Nobody's safe. That's
yeah. I mean, we have to spoil it now. We had a spoiler alert, so we have to spoil something.
Let's only spoil the first part, like with the kid that that I mentioned because I don't want to ruin the ending for people, just in case. I mean, all the people who watch, but I'd hate for my mom to have the movie ruined for her.
Well, tell her not to watch this. It's a spoiler alert. I mean, it's an effect. We can't have a false spoiler alert.
No. I mean, there's this spoiler that we're bringing up, but I don't think we should spoil the ending. I think we should just we should talk about the premise and some things that happen.
Okay, yeah. So if you haven't heard of it, which I'm just gonna hold it because it's probably a lot easier. So if you haven't heard of it, one, get on the internet some because it's all over the internet.
It's everywhere, man. It's everywhere.
Two, it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. But do you want to explain the premise while I try to sort my life out?
Yeah, the premise, which you might even be able to get just from the trailers, but there's these creatures that have super sensitive hearing. And so the people
they're blind.
I think they're blind. I'm pretty sure they're blind.
They are blind.
Yeah, they have super sensitive hearing, and they've been on Earth for a while, and they attack anything that makes any sound. So the people that are left have to be very careful and make sure that they don't make too much sound. And they did a really good job in the movie of like showing how it works and the rules. Like people, they don't wear shoes. They put sand on the ground to quiet their footsteps and probably protect.
They don't wear
feet.
Shoes or socks.
Yeah, shoes or socks. They don't wear them. Everything they do, they can't speak to each other. They use sign language to communicate a lot of the times, or they very, very quietly whisper to the point where it's almost like they're not even speaking out loud. But this family is caught in this situation with these creatures, and they've learned to live with it. I mean, it's into the opening scene. It's been like 89 days since the creatures arrived, and they've been living with it. But that opening scene, I mean, the kids, they aren't safe. Like there's they started off with a bang. I find myself not wanting to talk about it. I don't want to it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right.
Retract the spoiler alert?
Yeah, I think we should retract the spoiler alert. We should officially retract because I don't want to do it. It doesn't feel right. Okay. Not yet. It's too soon. But it's a great movie, and you should definitely go see it.
Whether you like horror or thrillers or just action,
or just family dramas, like
what I like about it is you can tell that the people who made the movie, they loved the concept. They put the time and effort and love into making the movie.
So much work.
It's not just as a cash grab like Rampage with
with
freaking The Rock.
Which in its defense, I haven't seen Rampage yet, but
I know it's just going to be a stupid cash grab movie.
Yeah, large scale albino gorilla fighting Mega Croc fighting Mega Wolf. I mean.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just there's so many like little details and stuff like that make the world, and it's just it's just something special. You can tell the people who made it love what they were doing, and they
and John Krasinski, Jim from he directed it. He's also starring
the best
in it,
TV show of all time.
Yeah, arguably
him and his wife.
Him and Emily, not Pam.
Arguably.
Believe it or not,
get out of here.
They're not together in real life. That's
nope.
Really for the show, but yeah, it was excellent. It was just absolutely fantastic. I really want to go see I Love the Dogs, too. It's a Wes Anderson film that's out now. But I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I can't expand on that any. So
you don't like Wes Anderson?
I've never seen any of his stuff.
You haven't seen Fantastic Mr. Fox or
I hadn't heard of it.
Moonrise Kingdom or
nope.
The Grand Budapest?
Nope.
All right, they're great movies. Should look into them. I want to talk about some run-ins that we've. This is going to be kind of a non sequitur, but I don't care.
I
want to talk about this. What was that?
Segways are overrated.
Segways? Oh yeah, segways. Okay.
Yeah. Not like that. I mean,
I know. I was thinking I thought you were talking about
the vehicle too.
And I was like, wow, that is a non sequitur. That's. But I think we should talk about our interactions with the police in the past.
Okay.
Us being the criminals that we are.
Yeah.
Criminally overrated, perhaps.
Do you want to start, or I can, or?
Well, I don't have a lot of run-ins with the police. I have a few that I can.
Neither do I.
Up.
So,
wow, what an invigorating topic that we've chosen.
Well, I was going to basically tell my one story. Early on, the only memory I ever have. Well, crap, I have two. Okay, so my young adult life or childhood.
My young adult life. My YA.
I'm a professional podcaster. Yeah, I can talk.
My YA life.
My childhood, I had two, I guess, interactions with police. I just didn't, kids don't normally interact with police very often.
That's true. It's
I had a really nice cop. He would be a security guard at high school football games when my brother was in the marching band.
I didn't know Zach did marching band.
He wasn't.
Andy.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he played bass drum.
Nice.
Yeah, the coolest instrument. And so, but yeah, he was always there. He was super nice. He watched after me one time when I had a migraine. I was puking all over the sidewalk.
Oh,
and my parents had to run home to get me some medicine, or went to the car to get me some medicine. So he sat there with me and was super nice and that kind of stuff. Then I called the cops one time when I was
Oh yeah, did you do that on
sixth grade?
What did you do? Was it an accident or did you?
I mean, kind of my sister dares me to call the cops. I'll do it. And so I pressed 911 and then I pressed enter and then end right afterwards. Because I didn't think it actually go through. So
totally
whatever.
Went through.
So we're laughing and my parents my parents were at the grocery store. Or I think my dad was in Texas. My mom was at the grocery store. But we get a knock on the door just assume it's my mom with groceries in her hand, so she can't open the door or something. So we go and open the door, and it's police officer. I'm
gosh,
what? He's like, we got a 911 call from here. I'm oh,
we got a 911 call.
So yeah, my parents were happy about that one.
Well, I bet so. Jeez. Yeah.
Other than being pulled over, that's all I have.
Yep, I've got some pulled over stories, but we can talk about that next. But are you still there, Ryan?
Yeah.
Did I? Oh, okay. I heard a sound pop for some reason. I thought I lost you. But there was one time, and okay. So you guys know I'm in college, and there's
what?
Yeah, I know. Surprise, surprise. I made it. I actually made it.
I didn't.
I mean, you did. You definitely. You were in college for a little bit. You're more than capable of being in college. Not that it means anything in particular, okay? You can be just as successful without a, college career. It's just a different path. All right?
Preach
it. Yeah, preach it.
Hey,
anyway.
I won on Monopoly and I did not go to college. So.
Hey, that's... See?
Or not Monopoly, Life. Wow.
If you went to college, you could tell the difference.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, brother. But, okay, that being said, at college, there's opportunities to go to parties.
What?
I've been to, one or two, my fair share.
You're such a bad boy.
I know, right? I'm living on the edge. But there was one time, and this honestly scared the heck out of me. Sometimes those parties get shut down. They're at different houses and things, and neighbors call in, and people get upset because there's 100 college students packed into a house with raging music and stuff. And
sounds perfect to me.
Yeah,
see right. Problem there.
Don't really blame them for that. But there was one time where we were at this party, and we saw a red and blue flashing lights outside. And we all looked out, and we'd been drinking a little bit, and I know it's delinquents.
Water or
yeah, fluids, just in general. Just
cool. That sounds creepier, actually.
Actually, that does sound a little worse. Liquids. I probably should have gone with liquids.
Fluids.
Yeah, that was poor word choice on my part. I apologize for that. But we saw these flashing lights outside, and I kind of freaked out because I've never gotten in serious trouble. There's been a few times where we had, I think we mentioned last time the cops got called on our party at the house when we were younger.
But I wasn't.
With all the kids, which nothing was happening, and we didn't do anything wrong. But this time was a little scarier because it's like, okay, not all of us are 21, and this could be bad. And I was a little freaked out, so we all went into the basement of this house.
They'll never find us here.
They'll never find us. We all ran into the basement, and and at this point, like a lot of the party had kind of.
I'm sorry.
I know, man. It wasn't the smartest thing. We were not in our brightest. Hey, college education. Am I right?
Yeah, that's.
We were.
There's no
we
one
in
home.
the basement. Yeah, there's no way we'll get caught in here. So we ran down there and, thinking that was going to be a safe place. And this was a house like we had never been to. We didn't know anybody. We didn't know whose house it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we didn't know. I think it was one of the sorority houses.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like you just broke into some random dude's house.
It was.
We didn't know whose house it was.
We didn't know who. It was.
Oh,
yeah, it was a bit. It was a bit messy, but nothing happened, so that was good. It just gave me a heart
it actually
attack.
worked. Hiding in the basement worked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know what I heard that actually happened was somebody had parked in front of one of the neighbors' driveways, which is not very smart and kind of a jerk move. But the neighbor had called the police or a tow truck or something to come move their car, and they towed their car, and so that's what the flashing lights were. But it definitely thought it was the cops.
You guys are freaking hiding in a basement from a tow truck.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
That's so that was the closest thing to like a bad experience. I mean, besides getting pulled over for speeding, which I've done once,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, I was freaking flying. I
So
haven't
yeah,
told
you
that
tell that
story
story
yet, right?
I
don't think I've brought it up, but I was driving.
I don't think so.
It was the first day. I was driving my dad's old truck because he had just gotten a new truck. So I was driving his old one, and I had gone and picked up Nelson, our dog, from Doggy Dude Ranch, which is a daycare center in Topeka.
Doggy daycare.
Doggy, yeah, but they call it Doggy
Not a
Dude
normal
Ranch.
daycare.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant yeah. It's not a normal daycare. It's a daycare for dogs, but they call it the Doggy Dude Ranch. And I was picking up Nelson from there, and I was just jamming out to some music on, dude, your phone.
Tell me about it.
You can just keep it down there. Oh, the poor thing. I was flying down Auburn. I did not realize this truck had much more power than I was used to. Excuses.
Yeah.
And Nelson was sitting in the front seat. I was rocking out to some music. I was feeling good. And this sheriff car drives by, and I was like, oh, he's going the other way. He won't know how fast I'm going. It's all right.
How fast were you going, Caleb?
Well, I was going 71 in a 50. So
21 over.
That's
not
a measly
horrible,
21 over.
Definitely
so
illegal.
It's definitely illegal, and to the point where it could have been pretty bad. But he pulled a 180, just like cranked it, went around, turned on his lights,
just
and I was like,
to get you.
Crap. So I stopped and pulled over, and this was the first time I'd ever been pulled over. So I was like, hey, and he's like, hey, you know how fast you were going? I was like, probably too fast. And I said something because I was aware, like as soon as he turned on the lights, I looked at the speedometer. I was like, oh, crap. Because I honestly, I did not realize I was going that fast. I thought, it was so easy just to speed up. So
you can get going in that car. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get going pretty fast. So I was like, probably, too fast. He's like, yeah, you're going 21 over. And I was like, sorry, I didn't realize. And he's like, is that your dog over there? I was like, yeah, his name's Nelson.
No, I mean, yes.
Yeah. I stole him from someone's backyard. I mean,
what kind of question is that?
And but Nelson, I was really hoping Nelson would get me some brownie points because he was like, Nelson's an adorable little dog, and the sheriff was like, oh, he's a cutie, I was like, yeah, he's pretty cute, he's pretty, he's nice, he's nice. And
hey, look your face if you're gonna get me out of this ticket.
That sounds so sketchy. But yeah, so I was hoping it would kind of maybe lower my bill a little bit, and we had a good conversation. I was trying to be super polite and super nice. I was like, maybe he'll let me off with a warning if I'm nice enough, and he walked it back to his car, looked me up and walked back, and he's like, all right, well, here's your ticket, drive safe. And I was like, oh crap. When I looked at it, it was like $230, I think. And I was like, ah, dang it, come on. And it sucked. And the worst part with that is like, it makes your insurance rates go up, when you do something like that, or you get in an accident, or at least for depending on the company that you have. But so I mostly felt bad about that because I had to call my dad and I was like, hey, I have bad news. I feel really bad about it. He's like, what happened? And I was like, I got a speeding ticket. And he's like, how much is it? Well, what happened? And he was honestly pretty cool with it. But I just felt bad because I was like, man, come on. Like, what was I thinking? And it was just, I did not, I mean, it sounds like an excuse, but that truck had a lot more power than I was.
And it really did. Like,
And I wasn't thinking about how fast I was going because I was just having a good time. The weather was beautiful. I was driving and listening to music. Yeah. It happens. What can I say? But you've gotten
is that still the only time you've been pulled over?
That's the only time that while I was driving that I got pulled over. There was other times.
How old were you? Like, was that? Like, I was 16,
17, I think.
17.
Yeah, I was 17, or it might have even been a little later than that because it was pretty late. Like, I think my mom had already moved. But yeah, it was something like that. I was 17 or 18.
Okay. Yeah, I got pulled over for the first time probably a couple months ago. So I was 19. But I try to be a really safe driver. I don't speed too much. I go a little bit over, but
the
like
responsible amount,
4.
like the 5 mile per hour limit or whatever.
Because I'm always in the mindset like your day's gonna be a whole lot better if you don't get pulled over. Like, if you get pulled over, it's just gonna make your day just like so much worse. So it's just not worth it. And so one day I just closed at work. I had to go to the other store in town to drop off some of their movies. And while I was leaving their parking lot, I realized I forgot to take the deposit to the bank. It's like, oh crap. So I had to go all the way like back across town, like another like 10 to 15 minutes there, 10 to 15 minutes back. It's like, well, just added 20 to 30 minutes before I could get home and relax and stuff like that. It's like, crap. So I, start driving over there and going again about 4 or 5 over, but nothing crazy. Pass a cop car at a stoplight. I'm green and he's red, trying to turn left onto the road to go the same way I was. Pass the cop car. I see him though, so I slow down and I'm going maybe 1 over, if anything. I was like, oh, I should be fine. And then he flips his lights on. I'm like, what?
It's like
it's got to be the guy behind me, right? No, he's going to pull me over. I was like, what the heck? It's like I wasn't doing it. I was only going like a couple overs. It's like crap. So I pull over and I'm horrible in situations that I'm not comfortable. Like, I've never done like new situations and stuff like that. And so like I was freaking out being pulled over.
It scares a lot of people.
So it was like, and it's kind of a sketchy situation, I guess, because I'm dressed up. I got a shirt and tie on and stuff like that. I got a big metal like suitcase thing in the back that has my friend's guitar pedal board in it. There's a couple like weird things like that. So he looks in, he's like,
"You're moving money or something?"
yeah, exactly. It's like he looks into my car. He's like, "Where are you headed to?" Like, I just got off work. I need to drop the deposit off at the bank, and I'm gonna go home. He's like, "Huh? What's in the box?"
Like, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Have you seen Seven?
Exactly like that. No, I haven't. But
oh, you know that scene though? Okay.
Yeah. But he's like, "What's in the box?" Like, it's a guitar pedal board. I promise. He's like, "I can show it to you if you want." He's like, "No, it's fine. It's fine." He's like, "Yeah, license and registration." So I give my license. I'm looking for my registration. I'm like, "Sorry, it's a new car." He's like, "So do you know why I pulled you over?" He's like, "Honestly, I don't." He's like, "Your lights aren't on." I was like, What? How did I get? I drove like 3 or 4 minutes like at night. I mean, this was 11 o'clock at night with my lights on. I was like, how did I do that?
Yeah, and your car doesn't have automatic lights, huh?
It does not. No. And so I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. This is a new car to me, and it still was. I hadn't had it for a month yet.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, it's still a new car to me. I guess I just I'm used to cars with automatic lights. Like, it's no problem. Just so I give him my stuff, and he checks it out and everything, and like some ID. He's like, oh, you still out of 27th Street? It's like, no, actually, I just moved about a month ago. He's like, "Oh, which new address?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't know it?
I didn't know it. I still don't to this day, to be honest.
Oh,
but
Lord.
he's like, you don't know your address? And I was like, no, sir. Sorry, I just moved. He's like, where is it? I was like, it's off of like 17th and Washburn, but like not really. And it's kind of associated with Washburn University, but again, not really. It's like an old frat house.
So
He just kind of gives me a look. I know
like
I did.
Like a transient or something that like
so,
moves somewhere else every month.
I know, I did, and I was like, I know it sounds so sketchy. I felt so bad, but I just didn't know the address. And I was freaking out, and I couldn't find my my insurance, because I thought it was in the glove box, but it was in the seat behind. So like I didn't have my insurance. And he goes back, and I finally find it. And when he comes back, I show it to him and stuff. And he comes back. He's like, all right, I got a $200 ticket for you for your lights. No, I'm just messing with you. No, that's fine.
Thank God. Like, oh God, it's so mean though. Like,
I was like, yeah, because I don't know any
He must
better.
have. I feel like he knew that you were a little nervous. You know that you were a little freaked out, and he was just messing with you.
I'm sure, because it's probably just a routine thing for him. But yeah, I'm freaking out. And he's like, no, I'm just messing with you. Then he looks at my car. He's like, what's the fastest you've gone in this thing? I was like,
that's such a
cop.
trick question.
Like what? And I was like, I think I might have hit 80 going up to Omaha. So I was like, I was like,
it's like safe,
it's a little fast.
There's some interstates that are 70, 75, so
exactly.
like you could.
And it's like, if nothing else, it's like, it was in Nebraska. You can't arrest me for that anyway.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah, he calls you in. you get mail from Nebraska. Like, we know what you did.
Probably. I just freaking admitted a crime. I was like, yeah, I'm about to hit 80 or so. He's like, psh,
lame.
Have you raced it yet? I was like, raced it? It's a
you're
Ford,
a cop.
It's a Ford Fiesta ST, and you're a cop. Like, it's not. I was like,
how am I supposed to answer this question?
I was like, no. And he was like, that's lame. And he handed me my ID back. He's like, learn your address, turn your lights on, and he walked away. I was like, what?
So confused by what just
happened. Is this like a normal cop interaction? Ask me if I'm like racing my car and stuff, like. Because there are races that go on.
Yeah, there are
in Topeka. On Wanamaker.
Yeah.
It's a thing, and I was like,
why?
And then he said it was lame that I had. I was
that
like,
you hadn't.
What?
Yeah, it's like is he telling me I should go race? Like what?
Oh, like I kind of want to now, but I know it's not a fast car. Like
I know, yeah, and I was gonna
not.
say it's a Ford Fiesta. Like it's not a racer necessarily. I'm sure it's not a bad car at all. It's really nice, but. I don't know if you would win any races.
I'm not going to be winning
any
races with it. Yeah. Heck no.
Yeah. When I first got Sally, which is what I call my car, the Toyota Celica. Her name's Sally. When I first got it, I would get I really like it. It's a 2001 Celica, and like I remember there was racing games where you could race as a Celica and stuff, and I would get compliments on it. Like people they liked it.
It's a nice car.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very small, but it's gets the job done. And she's pretty good looking, if I'd say so myself. Yeah.
Yep. So many jokes.
So I know so many that I almost said just then, but I'm not going to. But I remember I pulled up to Sonic and I got some food, and the guy at the window was like, "Hey, nice car, man." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And he's like, "What kind of engine you got in there?" And I was like, like 4-cylinder. And he's like, he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "I don't know, dude. This is just
we are
just
definitely not car people at all.
No, like I mean,
what kind of engine do you have?
I know the basics, like, but I don't know what engine. Like, we had a friend.
It takes gas.
It takes gasoline. It's not diesel. It was like I don't know those things. I mean, I feel like I know the basics. I can change the oil in my car. I can, change the oil filter. I know basic things, but I don't pride myself in my knowledge of cars. It's not something that I would say is like my thing. But we had a family friend who they rebuilt the car. So like they meant it to be a racer.
From scratch.
Yeah, from scratch. No, not from scratch. But they replaced the engine, and they would know what kind of engine is in it. And it's supposed to be actually a special engine. But I have no clue. I mean, I know nothing about it. So I just felt super ignorant. Like I don't know what to tell you, man. He's like, "Oh, all right." I was like, "Yep."
Here's a
all
question.
Right, cool.
What's the actual fastest you've ever gone in any car?
Okay, so in the Acura, in my first car, I legitimately I wanted to break 100 with it, but it wasn't capable.
Possible.
I know
Yeah,
it wasn't capable. It was running off like 2 cylinders because the head gasket was going out, and it was a super fun car to drive, but it could not. It maxed out. But I did get it going pretty fast. I didn't quite get it to 100, but I'd say I got it into like upper 90s. I was really close. But I haven't taken the Celica super fast just because, I'm kind of scared too. Like I really rely on the car.
That was your and your Acura's thing,
Yeah, it was our thing, it was but also with the Acura, it was an old car already, and it had been through a lot, and I was like, I felt okay trying to push it. The Celica, it's like I rely on it so much, I don't want anything to happen to it.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yeah, but even so, I haven't really gotten a great position. I'm like the interstate would probably be the best place to take it, super fast. But
hypothetically, if we were in a controlled space and cops permission, because we would never actually speed. Cause that's illegal.
Of course.
Yeah, this is all hypothetical.
All hypothetical. But the interstate would probably be the best place to do it. But I'm still like, ever since I got my first ticket and stuff, I'm like, I really don't want to get pulled over again because, one, it's expensive and I'd probably have to pay it, and two, I don't want my insurance rates to go up like crazy. So I drive a little conservatively. Especially more when I first started driving, I was like, I would have fun with the Acura and stuff and do stupid stuff with it. But now that I'm a little bit older and, I don't do it so much. It's also not the same when it's not a standard. Like, it's fun to go fast in a standard because it's like, and like, I don't have the satisfaction of doing that.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. That's what it sounds like too.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly how I remember it.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, did you take the? I was gonna say your car's like the Forester had a nice engine in it, but I don't know if it was ever.
I don't
in
even know if I ever hit. I don't think I ever hit like 70 in the Forester. Like I just
ever since the accident,
Zach's accident.
Zach's accident.
Yeah, Zach wrecked my car.
We're calling you out, Zach.
yeah, we're calling you out. This whole episode is just like, what a terrible brother.
You're just lousy, man.
He gives me free food nowadays, so
he's a really nice guy. I've really come to like Zach, but we're just giving him crap from.
Yeah, because he knows what we do. But I think I'm like 65 or 70 like highway speeds in the Subaru. The Jeep, I don't think I hit much more in the Jeep either, like again 70. The fastest I have gone, I think I know for a fact I've hit 80, 85 in the Fiesta on the way up to Omaha and back. I know I've hit at least 85, and I know for a fact I hit at least 95 in my ex's now in her car going to pick her up from the airport one time.
Really? What?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to the speed. I was on the highway going downhill and looked down. I hit 95. I almost wanted to push it just to get just 5 miles away from 100. I've never hit 100. Just like I almost wanted to push it, but not my car.
I know it sounds.
Didn't want to get a 100-mile-an-hour speeding ticket. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit the brakes on that.
Yep.
So
maybe just a little bit, but that's I don't know. I've just been too scared. I did get to drive before we wrap up. I did get to drive my aunt's Mustang one time. She's like, you want to drive it? I was like, yeah, sure. So I drove it, and she let me I didn't get to. We were on a country road, and I got to go pretty fast, but it was one of those where I'm like, I'm not going to go 100 miles per hour,
Country road,
take me home
to the place.
You just said country road twice.
I said take me home, country road.
Oh,
they're just singing the song.
It's the other way around. Take me home to the place where I belong. Wow. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Whatever.
I hate to.
Country music sucks.
Oh, come on, man. You like that song? I know for a fact you
do. I don't. I've never listened to that song. Like
you gotta listen to it.
People sing it.
It's so good.
Oh, I guess no, it was in Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
So I guess I have listened to it.
You have listened. Yeah, it was a different person singing it, but.
Oh,
all right. Well, I guess on that note, we should wrap it up. So. That was episode. Was it? That was episode 6. Yeah. What did you say? Always? What are you talking about?
I'll tell you afterwards.
What the heck? Oh, I get it. Yeah. Wow. Funny, Ryan.
This has been episode 7.
Nope,
Ryan.
It's episode 7. You're right.
This has been a disaster. Great ending.
Well, I'm glad you said something. I would have signed us off on totally the wrong episode.
Wait, what episode were you thinking?
I said episode 6. I said that before on the which I just uploaded. So that's whoops. Episode 7. This has been episode 7 of Cabin Flannel.
We know what we're doing.
You totally know what we're doing. All right. Thanks for watching. I've been Caleb.
I'm Ryan. Until next week.
We'll speak to you next time.